Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping right into, well, the whirlwind that was the Lakers landing Luka Doncic.
Yeah.
This wasn't just, a trade. It was, like many said, a real franchise-altering earthquake.
Absolutely. I mean, getting a player of Doncic's caliber, his generational talent, it just immediately shifts the Lakers' whole ceiling.
Right.
But, as electrifying as that move was, history kind of tells us that integrating a superstar mid-season, it's a uniquely complex puzzle.
Precisely. And J.J. Redick, he stepped into a situation where every single game felt like a playoff game already. That leaves very little room for, foundational practice, trying to weave in a player like Doncic with his gravity on the fly. That's just a monumental task.
If you actually look back, the data backs that up. Coach Redick himself, he alluded to how rare it is for teams to bring in an all-star level player mid-season and then actually lift the trophy that same year.
It almost never happens.
Right. The timeline for true integration, it's usually longer.
Yet, even against those odds, the Lakers showed some real flashes towards the end of the regular season.
They did.
It gave us this tantalizing preview, but now the offseason is where the real work starts. This is Redick's chance to really shape the team with Doncic right at the center.
Exactly. Redick's been emphasizing the significant advantage, I think he called it, of having a full offseason to build. Build with Doncic, with LeBron James, Austin Reeves. It's an opportunity to move past just, tactical adjustments game to game.
Reacting to opponents.
And start constructing a more comprehensive, proactive system.
Okay, so our deep dive today is going to be laser focused on understanding how Redick plans to unlock the absolute best version of Luka Doncic.
Yep.
We'll be pulling insights from reports covering Redick's own analysis and Doncic's initial reactions to this new coaching setup. All right, let's unpack it. What were the main hurdles Redick saw trying to integrate a force like Doncic, right in the middle of a super competitive season?
Well, the biggest challenge, as Redick really laid it out, it basically boils down to the scarcity of repetition.
Repetition.
Yeah.
Right.
During that regular season grind, the priority is always game planning and recovery.
Right.
You just don't have those extended practice blocks to consistently drill, say, new offensive sets or refine defensive rotations or just cultivate that inherent on-court synergy.
The intuition.
Exactly. That intuition that comes from just countless hours playing together.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
You can't just, throw 3 elite players out there and expect instant perfect cohesion.
No way.
It takes time. It takes reps to develop that unspoken understanding, those little subtle cues that championship teams really rely on.
Precisely. And Redick mentioned Greg St. Jean, who has experience with similar midseason stuff in Dallas.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, he provided some valuable perspective. It's not about, a lack of effort or willingness from the players. It's just the logistical reality. Embedding a player of Doncic's stature with his established style into a new team dynamic, it requires dedicated time and focused practice that the regular season schedule, it just rarely allows for.
So the offseason really becomes the game changer then.
Absolutely.
What specific strategies is Redick likely thinking about to, maximize this crucial period?
Well, Redick has really stressed the importance of proactive communication, getting those channels open between Doncic, LeBron, and Reeves.
Okay.
The goal is to sort of foster a foundational rapport even before any formal team stuff kicks off.
Right before training camp.
Exactly. And there's also talk, the potential for an informal minicamp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, offering an initial, maybe less pressurized environment for them to just start working together.
A mini camp.
Oh.
That sounds like an incredibly smart move. It's a chance to start building those crucial connections, on and off the court, without the immediate pressure of the regular season right there.
Absolutely. And then, of course, you have the traditional training camp and preseason.
Standard stuff, yeah.
Redick sees these as absolutely essential for laying the foundation, establishing the building blocks for the whole year. This is where they'll finally get that concentrated time for the very repetitions that were missing during the season.
Right, the thing he said was lacking.
Exactly. They can truly solidify their on-court understanding, develop a more fluid, interconnected style. For instance, you might see them work heavily on pick-and-roll variations, maybe exploring different reads, different reactions based on defenses.
Stuff that needs time.
Stuff that requires significant, dedicated practice time you just don't get otherwise.
It sounds like a very intentional, sort of phased approach. Now, what's really fascinating here is the connection that already exists between Redick and Doncic.
Yeah, that's key.
How might their prior relationship specifically impact this integration, beyond just general familiarity.
Well, that pre-existing relationship is undoubtedly a huge asset. Redick, he briefly coached Doncic back in
Right,
Dallas.
for a short stint.
Yeah, and despite the age gap, different career stages, they reportedly formed an immediate bond. Redick has mentioned they've stayed in contact over the past 3 years. What's particularly interesting, I think, is that this prior experience probably gives Redick a more nuanced understanding of Luka's game.
Yeah, you'd think so.
His strengths, maybe even some of his quirks or tendencies that a coach coming in cold might take longer to figure out.
That's a significant advantage, isn't it? It's not like Redick is walking in as a total stranger.
Not at all.
There's already a level of comfort there, and, one would assume mutual respect already established.
Precisely. Redick himself feels this prior connection gives them a great starting point, as he put it, for their coach-player dynamic in LA.
Okay.
It potentially shortens that initial period of, building trust, building understanding.
Gets them down to business faster.
Yeah, allowing them to get down to the specifics of basketball strategy more quickly.
So their initial chats in LA, they weren't just like introductory hellos.
No, not at all.
There was already a baseline there. What were some of the key things they talked about early on regarding like on-court expectations?
Well, according to Redick, in their very first conversation when he got to LA, Doncic explicitly said he wants to be coached. Coached directly, held accountable.
Wow, that's a remarkably important starting point.
Isn't it? You have a player of Doncic's stature actively seeking feedback, wanting to be pushed.
Yeah.
It kind of cuts through any potential ego issues that can sometimes pop up with superstars,
That really speaks volumes about Doncic's maturity, doesn't it? And his focus just on winning. It's not always a given that players at that level are so open about wanting tough coaching.
Absolutely not. And Redick, he mirrored that sentiment. He clearly stated his main goal is to bring out the absolute best version of Luka.
Okay.
And Doncic, in turn, has basically expressed he wants the same from his coach. This mutual goal, this shared expectation, it forms what Redick calls the fundamental baseline of their work together.
So it's like a genuine partnership then with a shared vision.
Seems like it.
They're both deeply invested in maximizing Luka's just extraordinary potential. And the ultimate goal, naturally, is translating that individual brilliance into team success and, hopefully a championship.
That's the big picture aim, yeah. And it's definitely encouraging to hear Doncic's side too, his perspective on working with Redick so far. What kind of feedback has he shared publicly?
Well, Doncic has actually been quite effusive, really positive. He called Redick a hell of a coach.
Ah, okay.
Which, coming from Luka Doncic, that's a very strong endorsement. He even acknowledged the impressive job Redick did in what Luka called his rookie year as a head coach.
That is noteworthy. For a player as accomplished as Doncic to recognize and appreciate a coach's impact, especially in their first year in that head seat,
Yeah.
it says a lot about Redick's approach.
Yeah, his ability to connect.
And lead a team, exactly.
And it really seems like Doncic genuinely enjoys being coached by Redick. He even made a comparison to his experiences playing pro in Europe.
Oh, interesting parallel.
Yeah, which he clearly holds in a high regard. He described their connection as great, and this whole experience with Redick so far is nothing but amazing. It just suggests a real alignment, in their basketball thinking, their communication styles.
That kind of overwhelmingly positive feedback, it's invaluable. It tells you the communication lines are open, they're effective, the relationship's built on respect, and crucially, Doncic feels he's in a place where he can keep growing and elevating his game.
So when we zoom out a bit, look at the broader landscape.
Oh.
What are the larger implications of this player-coach dynamic and the Lakers' whole strategy of building around Doncic?
Well, the fundamental thing here is that for the Lakers to achieve, sustained great success, as they put it,
Right.
that cohesive understanding, that commitment, it has to run through the entire organization. It's got to be more than just Doncic and Redick.
Needs LeBron, Reeves.
LeBron, Reeves, every single player on that roster, everyone needs to be aligned, know their roles, their responsibilities, all pulling towards that one common goal.
It's about forging that unified vision, right? And a shared dedication to getting there. Each person understanding how they contribute to the team's success.
Exactly. And the sort of prevailing belief is if Redick can effectively unlock the best version of Doncic like he wants to, then significant team success should logically follow. Doncic is the engine, right? He drives this Lakers team.
No question.
And maximizing his incredible abilities will definitely elevate the performance of the whole group.
And looking ahead, it seems pretty clear Doncic is being positioned as the cornerstone,
Oh, for
the
sure.
long-term face of the Lakers franchise. This isn't just about, winning right now. It's about building a sustainable winning culture around him for years to come.
Precisely. He is the foundational superstar they're building everything around. And Redick's role is going to be critical in nurturing his continued development, ensuring he hits his full potential while wearing that Lakers jersey.
So, all right, to sort of wrap this up,
Yeah.
the Lakers getting Luka Doncic was a truly massive event, a seismic shift. And this upcoming offseason is just absolutely pivotal for fully integrating him under Coach J.J. Redick.
Crucial period.
Yeah, their existing positive relationship, that shared ambition to unlock Luka's peak performance. It offers a genuinely optimistic outlook for where this franchise is heading.
And for you, the listener, kind of understanding the nuances, the complexities of integrating a generational talent mid-season and appreciating just how important a focused offseason is, it gives you really valuable insight, I think, into team-building dynamics and that relentless chase for a championship in today's NBA.
Definitely. Okay, finally, something for you to think about. Given how tough it is, the inherent challenges of integrating a superstar into a contending team midstream, what do you think are the absolute non-negotiable elements? What's required for a newly formed star duo to not just overcome those hurdles, but to actually achieve immediate, lasting success together? It's a really fascinating question to chew on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.